welcome to the eighth episode of Base Cafe with Holly and Dean. I'm Holly.
And I'm Dean.
Today we are going to be talking about optimizing your online presence, the musician's guide. And we have a really special guest.
Miss Abby K on bass. One of my students from time to time. She has been crushing it. I met her actually when she opened up for Nita Strauss on the first tour, the Guitar Collective tour, the first tour that we did. And Nita jumped up on stage with her and played a song with her. And she did her job. She did what we always talk about. She played the show. She was super prepared. She's a young kid.
Yeah.
She was like 15, I think, at that show. She's a young kid. She had a pro setup, pro gear, pro band, played some originals, some covers, and I think that show, it might have been all covers.
Yeah.
And impressed the heck out of everybody, and then kept in contact with me, wound up taking lessons, asking. We did a lot of consultations because she's so active. She has a manager. She's releasing single after single after single. She's doing music videos, and she just got her license. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
more work than I did before I was 17 times 10.
Yeah. Which social media gives us those platforms to do so.
Dude, yeah, I barely had the internet in 2000.
Right.
Yes, we had lots of information on the internet, but it's not like the average Joe's household had like this crushing internet speed. Like, if everything was there, if you wanted to read like a book or find like a tab, it took you a half hour to get there, dude. Like,
I didn't think I had a lot of tabs on the internet either.
and they were all wrong back then.
They're all wrong.
It's not like today. Today, I definitely lean on ultimateguitar.com. When I first started teaching, at School of Rock in New Jersey, I downloaded and paid for the pro version of that.
Yeah.
And it has been worth its weight in gold ever since, because you get these updated MIDI files. They're officially licensed. They're not all right either. I got news for you. But
Yeah, the only
as
thing that the
as a
only thing
teacher
you can
though, like,
really
have
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go.
So the only thing you can really rely on is your ear. You really have to.
Yeah, and like, I still rely on my ear to work out and hone things, and also curtail it to the student.
Yeah.
Um, but having stuff like that online, just, I don't, as a teacher, I don't have to know every song on the planet. I just
Right.
have to be able to learn it faster than my student.
Yeah.
And like, and I learned kind of fast. I still have to work on techniques and other stuff. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, those resources,
Mhm.
online resources, have been uh crushing like the music industry. We have been really able to progress, as artists and as businesses, more than
Yeah.
anything, because of online.
Yeah, and we're actually getting into this day of age where we have to be our own online business or our own business as a musician because
I
we
kind
are
of think we
capable.
are all entrepreneurs.
We're all entrepreneurs, definitely. We all run our own we're self-employed. Uh, I have to work hard to get gigs or try to get people to pay me to work on their session work, just as someone has to go to work 8 hours a day, somewhere, whatever they're doing. Um, it's a business, and if you don't work your business, you don't get paid. The only problem is that I don't have a business that I can go to, and if I don't have business for that day, I just don't get paid. So my online presence is my thing that keeps me bringing clients in and bringing money in and actually getting paid for what I want to do, which is music.
Yeah, and for me, right, like, everyone thinks, oh, like, I hope you make it. And it's like, yeah, I appreciate that, bud. But in the beginning, for me, it was, you thought you toured, had a tour bus, sold some records, and then had a mansion.
Mhm.
right? That's what we were all told to believe.
That's what we were told.
And all of those people who live that life are homeless and drug addicts now.
Most of them, yes.
You know, yeah, not all of them, right? But too many,
Yeah.
sadly. And as time went on, we had to become these smaller and smaller entities. And just by Instagram posts, I have sold albums.
Yeah.
Like for my solo band, I've never played live.
Hmm.
I've never played a single one of those songs at a concert venue. Not ever.
I've only played a handful of my record, and I've sold a lot. I mean, I sell them when we have Zepparella tours. We bring them on the road, and I usually sell out
I
of them.
did I did sell some when I was playing bass for Graves. I had like a whole merch setup. I did not bring or even ask to bring any kind of merch along on any of the Nita Strauss tours. I just kind of didn't. I had a lot of other responsibilities, and like it was just like a whole other level where I just didn't even want to ask. You know, I
Yeah,
could have asked and they could have said no, but we didn't even get there. You know,
yeah,
uh, but everything else has just been online. A simple Instagram story
hmm,
has netted me students,
hmm,
has netted me um, album sales, T-shirt sales, guitar pickup sales. Like I have my own signature series guitar pickups through Plan 916, and yeah, I've sold guitar pickups just because of an Instagram post. Um,
So let's see. There's Facebook and Instagram, and then some other platforms that most people use. Um, Twitch
well,
is now becoming one.
right, there's Twitch. Twitch is a good one now.
Yeah, I started using Twitch for live jams, and I mean, it's going okay. I'm just starting out, but it definitely is
Yeah, I've
worth
seen
it.
some of those videos. I've seen.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, it's just something to do and to put out there, and it's base. So
I
it's
have a Twitch channel. I haven't done anything with it yet. I think I've said something about this here before, but I want to start playing video games with my fans.
yeah,
I have a lot of the stuff set up. It's just not there yet, like it's piece by piece and I have other things on the plate right now.
yeah,
But I'm also doing live streams. So like this is something we didn't even think about when we were planning out this episode, but there's all these platforms, right? So let's go into some of those platforms, but then there's also all these resources for those platforms.
yeah.
And we both use different resources. So
Okay.
let's see, we got Twitch,
Uh huh.
um, your own personal website, right? So you
Yeah.
do really great with your own website.
Thank you. I have built it myself and I man it myself, and I find that going in at least once a week or twice a week and just cleaning things up and making sure things are running correctly, making sure everything looks good on the screens, making sure the correct things or the right things are at the top and the right things are at the bottom. If you're
I am not that active.
yeah,
I'm not that active. I do believe in a good website and I do like update it. I try and update it more than once a year. I try and update it every 3 to 6 months. I really do.
yeah,
Um, Sometimes I do the little things like I'm supposed to have updated my bio for like ever now.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, like I do some of that little stuff. I've changed around some pages, but mostly my old singer Alex,
uh-huh.
she like I don't know, back when I first started my solo band, her mom was supposed to like build my website
Yeah,
and she just I don't know, didn't show up. And I was like, what the hell? You
yeah.
know? And
Well,
Alex is like, listen, I'll fix it. And she just
yeah.
does a Squarespace thing. And so, like, I'm bringing this up because my friend felt bad her mom didn't do it, right? And had no idea what she was doing
Hmm.
and just Googled it,
Hmm.
found Squarespace, found Wix. We decided on Squarespace and she sat there and she built it and she dragged and dropped and we figured it out there. And every time that we redo this,
Hmm.
um, we kind of like figure something else out and we learn
Yeah,
more and
yeah.
more and more, but it's so
It's not that
easy.
hard. It's not that hard. And there Wix is my favorite, and that's what I use for my website. I use GoDaddy for the domain
Me
name,
too.
and then Wix. But you can still just use Wix for your domain name and your website. But Wix is so easy because it's like you really are just building everything that how you want it. And there's so many integrations in there to give you what you want. I sell merch off of there that people they'll pay for the merch, and then it's a drop shipping company that does it, and then they send it off, and so I don't have to deal with anything any like we used to have all kinds of merch on hand. When somebody bought a t-shirt, you send it out, and it takes, you have to do all of this, which if you're not doing anything else it's fine, but if you're busy, it's kind of a hassle to go to the post office all the time. So these great merch companies, and
That's where I'm the
especially
worst.
DGC as well. If you order from the DGC website, my other company, Dead Group Clothing, you get it from a drop shipping company. We get the emails, we get everything. We make sure that the business is ran, correctly, but we don't touch the merch. It goes straight to them. So it's becoming so easy. And if you have a graphic designer or a graphic artist that can come in and give you a logo and give you kind of a look, can give you maybe something for your merch, then you can put it all together yourself and start your brand whenever you want to.
The world is changing. I was just,
Yeah.
as you're saying that, right? Like, I've never drop shipped anything. All of my
Yeah.
stuff is um, made, printed, and then left in stock. Whatever
Right.
doesn't sell, because like even if you're the most active band, you might sell out of most sizes in a shirt, but you might never sell insert size here shirt. You know what I mean? Like you might like there might just be that one design, that one size, it just doesn't sell, and you're
And
left off with that.
yeah,
Um,
your friends are like, oh, I liked the other one.
right.
So this
And
cuts that whole thing, that whole racket down. The only things that I sell off my website now are my CD and my hot sauce. So I do physically have to go and pick
hot sauce.
my hot sauce. Yeah, yeah. This one's empty, but my Holly's taco sauce.
Better be empty.
Yeah, we ate all that. um, so it makes it a lot easier for artists now to get their brand going and out there, and I feel that
If
because
I've been able to do it, it must be easy. You
well,
know,
your website is your mecca. It's your signature. It's your hallmark. It's what you need to focus your attention on, because those are your direct clients. You can email every single one of them that sign up for your website. You can have them sign up for forums where you talk just specifically to them. There's video chats you can have just specifically with them. All
so
these things that you can do on social media, you can do on your website.
so we have Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
we have a website,
Mm-hmm.
and then some of those forums that you log up on, link in with them to use things like Discord, right? You can link
Discord.
Discord up to there, also up to your YouTube channel,
Yeah. Yeah.
Patreon.
I feel like social media and some of those things centered around being social on the internet are more for advertising your brand off of your website, because
Well, they're for those companies to make money, so therefore it's advertising space.
exactly.
Entertainment advertising space. Like it's like advertising shadowed as, like entertainment.
Yeah, yeah. Because even if you can put, like, say your merch on your Instagram, right? You put an Instagram post and you can say, oh, that's $30. And then you press it, it still goes to your website. So it's really just all advertising on
I
that.
still can't figure that out. I've looked up
You
so
have
many
to
different
go.
I
You have
have I have like that part is really hard. I'll tell you, working with social media and like working with Instagram and Facebook business to
uh,
get all of the things, right? So
yeah.
to be able to be a business, have your posts promoted, and we did want to jump into that a little bit, but like to have all that and to link it where like your t-shirt shows up on your Instagram post,
You have to do it on
there's
your
like a thousand steps.
Yeah, but you have to do it on your computer. I don't think you can do it on your
I
phone.
know, no, I know. Yeah, but I've done it, and
Yeah.
like I'm in Facebook business, and I have like my guitar pickups listed in there, and I can
Yeah.
never tag it in there. Like I'm always missing one step with some of that, and it's so crazy.
Well, the good thing is that it's easier now because there's so many tutorials on YouTube, and all
Yes.
of these websites have made it easier and more user friendly,
Well, so
supposedly.
there's tons and tons of videos on the big
Drugs.
topics. The
Yeah.
big topics, things like hashtags, how often you promote, how often you post on your website. There's tons of information on that.
Yeah.
But the few little marketing secret things, such as, having the shortest route for
Yes.
your client
Yes.
to go from
A to B.
advertisement to purchase to checkout, right? That shortest amount of time, that is absolutely reserved for the top players who have to know all the little ins and outs, because that's what you want. And that's something that's why a website's great. That's why drop shipping is great. Um, that's why Instagram is great for stories and stuff like that, especially if you have the swipe up function, right?
Yeah.
Um,
After 10,000 follows.
is it 10 or is it yeah, 10,000, right? Um, the having the shortest route
Mhm.
from promotion of said item to support your business as a musician slash entrepreneur to checkout. That is the most important and hardest task, I
But
think.
also, I think equally important is quality of content. And you only get quality of content if you're authentic and you're promoting something that other people will like. Um, and
That's
you,
the E equals MC square of it all. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it has to, if anything you want to sell, right? If you want to sell your CD, it
Mhm.
has to be studio quality. If you want to sell your CD, it better not be basement garage quality.
Yeah, if
Like it can be and people will buy it, but more people will buy it if it's better.
well, I think weren't we saying last time MC Hammer made more money selling mixtapes out of his trunk? But that was in the 80s, and that's when everything
Yeah,
was
that's
shit.
when CD quality wasn't even around yet, and even when it was just tapes on
Yeah,
CD.
yeah,
Everything was still recorded on tape
yeah,
and then just put onto a CD.
yeah,
So whatever. But
yeah.
now, yeah, nowadays everything has to be like crystal clear.
Yeah, if you go to some some accounts that are doing really well, you see kind of the way that they lay out everything. A lot of them have kind of same color schemes. They have same type of content. They're engaging with their audience. They're liking posts. They're commenting on posts. There's a lot of people out there that are famous that don't even do that, but they don't have to because they've got the fan base and stuff. But if you're wanting to really get your fan base to stay around for a long time, you have to be engaging. And it also works with the algorithms too. If you're engaging, then the algorithms push your posts up. Supposedly, they push your posts up more.
Yeah. So, and that's like a big thing is what is the point of having all of these platforms if
Uh-huh.
you're not going to check up on them, if you're
Yeah.
not going to post on them, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a LinkedIn page and a website and an Instagram page and, an insert this page, right? If you're not doing anything with it, it's not going to do anything
Oh,
for you.
yeah. Yeah.
You can't just like start like a Facebook page for your band and then never post on it
Yeah.
and never ask, and never get people to follow it,
Mm-hmm.
or like have an Instagram page for your band and then just literally never post, you know?
Yeah. The more engaging that you, I mean, that's what you came into the business for, is to be able to play music. But the thing is that now
Music comes in many forms.
you have to pull your audience from what's out there.
Like and we always talk about this, from the perspective of a bass player,
Mm-hmm.
but we're individuals and we're businesses. It doesn't matter, now when you're in the music industry, if you want to be in any industry, you have to make money or you're going to go bankrupt. And unfortunately, in order to do any one thing in this industry, you have to cover very many facets. Those of you who are old enough to remember MTV would know that very quickly music television became nothing but reality TV shows. And you know what happened to all those musicians, all those dudes who were and girls who were in rock bands? They wound up on these TV shows. So now all these audio personas are becoming visual personas, are
Mm-hmm.
becoming scripted personas, are becoming sitcom characters,
Yeah.
and that's what we are. And so when I'm a guitarist or a bass player and I'm on Instagram, I'm an Instagram model. Like,
Yeah.
like when I'm on Facebook,
Like you're playing their game.
yeah, yeah. When I'm on YouTube, I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah.
When I'm
Yeah.
on Twitch, I'm a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's what we are. I'm a bass player when I'm playing bass, which isn't as often as you think anymore.
Yeah.
It's necessary, but like I play guitar and bass all day long. You know what I mean? Right before, and so with all this, right, there's so many resources.
Yeah.
Some of those resources that I use,
Mm-hmm.
obviously YouTube, right? We are
Yeah.
doing this on YouTube and we use Anchor. When we use Anchor, we can take our YouTube podcast. I actually use this app called Clip Grab. And once I upload our episode to YouTube, I then grab just the audio from there, right from YouTube. So it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
Um, and it goes on to Spotify through Anchor, right? Anchor's that resource,
Yeah.
anchor.fm.
Yeah.
Um, I also utilize OBS. I use OBS for so many online resources, from teaching to some of these Zoom meetings that I do, right? Zoom is another resource.
Another thing. Yeah.
But OBS is a huge one. What is it? I think it's Open Broadcasting Software is what it stands for.
Yeah.
That's like I'm a guitar player. I'm a
Yeah.
bass player.
And now you're a
But I'm
broadcaster.
also a technical director, an artistic, creative
Yeah.
director. Like all these things. Before this podcast, I was sitting here doing sound checks and doing mic checks and making sure that when I'm playing something and I'm, from the computer and my guitar, and I'm doing all levels. So now I'm also the sound guy. I'm my own guitar tech, because what if there's a problem with the cable? And
Yeah.
then I'm switching between adding logos.
I mean, you're really making your self-employed uh, stand out. We really
I'm
have to.
trying. It's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. And if you don't know if you don't know something that well, like if you, say for instance, you want to start a YouTube channel and you don't know about like what platform is going to be best to video or whatever. There's so many things you can go out, so many resources you can go out and you can find the best one for you, which is great. And if you wanted to focus on one or two platforms, you could do that as well. But the thing is that right now, and we're seeing it in real time, the platforms are changing, and the way that people are getting their information is changing, and people are reaching out to other platforms because they're tired of the same old platforms.
I
And
miss
that's
MySpace.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Hashtag bring back MySpace.
Oh, bring back MySpace. I loved MySpace.
MySpace was free.
It was amazing.
MySpace was organic growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook replaced MySpace in the beginning, and I wanted to touch on this. In the beginning, Facebook, you could have a cap of 5,000 friends, right? And when you reach
Well,
that cap, you started a page. And if you had a band, you started a page. But in the beginning, when you started that page, it would organically go out to everyone who you were friends with. It was very easy to get the people who each band member was friends with on Facebook, people they grew up with, whatever. It was very easy for those people to see your band's stuff, your business's stuff, your Facebook pages stuff, your business pages stuff. Um, in the middle of that band for me, I watched the algorithm switch. I remember when it happened.
mhm,
And there was like one day it all worked and we were getting thousands of likes and follows and shares. And the next day, nobody saw our post.
mhm.
And it's because Facebook changed to now pay for people to see your pages stuff. It became a
Paid for.
virtual yellow pages
Yeah, they
when it
paid.
was a free message board. It
Yeah,
used to be a cork board at your local library, and then it turned into the yellow pages overnight.
yeah, yeah. And that's unfortunate because as people who are artists, we do need these platforms to work in our favor.
I think it
Um,
sank. I think it sank that band's growth.
I think Facebook and Instagram are sinking a lot of bands' growths
Yeah.
because they're playing this game of you need to pay to be popular, and when really we just want our fans, the ones that are liking our page, to see our stuff,
Well,
and it
it
doesn't
don't
happen
we also like don't we also have to do pay to play at venues, right?
when we first start out.
So they're
But
just adding that on to us. It's like,
right, but also the venues lose money. We Instagram isn't going to lose money if we're just on there, you know, doing our thing.
no, well,
And
it's all advertising money. It's weird. It's
right,
like I feel it's almost a catch 22. It's like I want to hate on Facebook for not allowing my band to be seen when it used to be seen.
yeah,
Um, but I also am utilizing that. And if I really do consider myself a business, I would have to consider an advertising budget. And in
right,
that case, I would have to reach out to a platform. And even though Facebook is bending me over sideways, charging me, for people to see my posts, that's a lot. That's doing a lot more for me than NBC is, than
yeah,
CBS is, than K Rock is. Like than Sirius satellite radio is. Like for that dollar amount, I can't get on any of those platforms.
right. And I totally get that, but the problem is
I,
that
I
they
agree, it's a
don't
problem.
do it the way. No, the problem is that it's not a problem to advertise your music. The problem is that they don't keep up with their word of showing your fans who have gone to your page to like your stuff.
Yeah.
Now you have to pay for your fans who have gone to your page to like your stuff. Otherwise, you would see that every single person saw
Right,
it
right,
today
right.
or
That's
over
not
the week. Pretty sure most of my fans are on there every single week, at least once a week. And, it's just sometimes it doesn't happen that way. Uh, it's interesting.
I remember Darkness Descends had 7,000 or something page likes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 7,000 and this is I wasn't even thinking about this the same way, so I'm looking to clarify it for anyone else. What Holly's saying here is that, like in that case, we had 7,000 people who liked the page, but if we got people to actually go to that page and like it, then for them to come across any of that content, we then had to pay for those people, not new people, not
Yeah,
people above that, but for those people who we already worked to get there, we had to then pay for them to see anything that goes on.
yeah, and that's insane.
Yeah, that's
It's like why
insane.
would you want to use those platforms? And maybe that's maybe they're sinking. Maybe that people are realizing, because I'm realizing real quick that it's not working in my favor. I have several
All these
businesses on
platforms are
both.
phasing out.
Yeah, I have several businesses on both, and shelling money into these businesses or into Facebook and Instagram every week. It's just it's not. It's nowhere near the growth that it was in the beginning. Nowhere near it.
No, but that's and that's because other stuff has come along. When Facebook was first out, there
Mm-hmm.
was none of this other stuff. And another thing, like TikTok
Mm-hmm.
has taken every movie star,
Mm-hmm.
every guitar player, every singer, every dancer, everyone, and turned them into trendy challenge stars.
Trendy.
Everyone's doing like flip challenges and ice bucket challenges. That was like really Facebook, but like all these kicking stuff, these little clips with doing the dolphin dance and shit. Like it's all it's you have to just mold yourself to that platform for that thing. And the thing that Facebook is really missing is there isn't really an allure to be a Facebook influencer, right?
No.
There's Twitter influencers, there's Instagram influencers, there's YouTube influencers. No
Yeah.
one is really a Facebook influencer. Like there's no Casey Neistat of Facebook.
Yeah.
um so I think these are all huge resources and platforms that we have to try and abide by. um One of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that we had Abby on here for this episode is because she's been killing it. Again, she's a new up and comer
Mhm.
and she's doing all the things,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, and the longevity is the biggest part. No matter what platform that you choose, if it starts working for you or not, longevity is a big part of that. You have to consistently put things out there for a long period of
You
time,
have to put enough
and
content out there that you're Googleable. Google,
Googleable. Yeah, yeah.
right? Like you can't look up my name and find me because there is a bunch of other famous people with my name.
Okay.
But if you
Well,
look
if
up,
you look at
if you
me,
Google
you get
Dean
me.
Music Official, if you look up Dean Music Official, you
Yeah,
find me. I'm right there,
yeah.
right? And that's how branding works.
Yeah. For a while, with my name, Holly West, there's a porn star and an author, and I think it's the same girl actually. And her name would come up first. She would always come up first. And then now it's getting to the point like when you type in my name, I come up first. But you also see Nita on there for some reason.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, it just depends. But
I
I
come
do
up, I come up Anita Strauss Googles.
yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. No, I was just saying it because I was on a poster one time because somebody thought that was my picture.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
It was needed. But anyways,
Funny.
but yeah, it's very true. You want to be Googleable and you want to work with the people who are going to get you to that. For instance, I'm in the new 2021 Guitar Girl calendar. I miss July.
Right. I was just about to go there. We're right on the same wavelength. So
But the reason this is a good thing for me is because, well, first off, it is photographed by Jack Lew, and Jack Lew takes pictures of all of the guitar girls. I mean, he's been around for ages in the LA area, and I've known him as a famous photographer for a lot of these girls. And
I have
so
Jack Blue photos, and I'm not a
you have
guitar
Jack Lew photos? Yeah, yeah, he's at all the shows. I
because
met
I
him at his
play for one of the
wedding show.
guitar girls.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And all of it's, I really like this actually. I've never had a Guitar Girl
It's
magazine.
very
I think the
classy.
description, huh?
It's very classy.
Yeah, they're very classy. They try to keep it really classy. Tara does a really good job with that. But what I really like, so here's Nikki from Iron Maidens.
With her new signature check.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? That girl's killing it. It's great.
Yeah.
I love the quotes. I went through and read all the quotes, and it's just so inspiring.
Oh, you guys
Um,
have quotes and stuff in there too?
yeah, so hers says, follow your heart, never lose your passion for music, don't let anyone discourage you from following your dreams, and always practice. Like, I love it. And every single lady in here has their quote.
Can, um,
And
I'd like to expand on that. So, like, that's what everyone really has to look at when we're doing all of this stuff, right? It's to inspire.
it's to
Oh,
inspire.
Miss
Miss
July.
July says, repetition is the mother of all skills. Practice, practice, practice. Rest and a good diet. Keep your mind right when you play. I didn't know that was going to go on there, but whatever.
um,
But yeah, and this is just
but that's
extremely.
what we've always set out to do, right? As musicians, as YouTubers, as bass players, as guitar players, songwriters,
Mhm.
podcasters, right? We're on this right now. What are we? We're podcasters,
Yeah,
and we're bass players later, like, but it's all to inspire.
mhm.
That's so super inspiring. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I encourage everybody to go get one of those Guitar Girl
Yeah,
magazines.
where do they find that?
I think on the web. I think there's a website, guitargirlmag.com. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I really like this in particular. Not that I like to divide the sexes on any part, but obviously, and you know because of Nita, like the girls didn't start coming into the scene more until about early 2000s, like mid 2000s.
Yeah, and they're
So
doing it with the fist of fury right now.
yeah, absolutely.
Girls are
But
taking
it's
over. I
it's
love it.
things like this that have helped, and like Shuttlicious, when they get all the girls together at NAMM to take pictures, they've brought all these girls a safe space to come and play because a lot of guys haven't played with girls before. They don't, I was with Rob, what's his name, Rob Jackson, who used to play for Slash a Snake Pit. I was doing a little video gig with him, and he's like, "I've never played with a girl before. I bet it's different, isn't it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not a dude, so I don't know." It's just like
Only
it's
if
not.
you want it to be, though, right?
I guess so.
I've been in a lot of bands with girls. My first band had a girl keyboard player, right? And that's how it used to be. It used to be like keyboard players, maybe a singer here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but my first band also, my son's mother was our very first bass player.
Yeah.
Um, with that first bass of mine. But like now girls are running the bands, like they're finally able to, because of these platforms, guys,
Yeah.
like let's face it, when everybody is on any of these platforms, you're bringing your A game.
Yeah.
And sadly, guys want to always be like, well, yeah, of course she has like 1 million followers, she's a girl. No, you know why, dude? Because like when she does take a photo, yeah, maybe she puts makeup on. When's the last time you shaved, dude?
Yeah.
Like when's
It's
the
true.
last time you bought lighting and like made sure that your background and your foreground and everything looked perfect? When's the last time you hit the gym for a year solid so you were in, kind of bathing suit weight? Like
Yeah.
every metal guy is like what? Like a dude that wears super long shorts on the beach and has a beer belly and like a scruffy beard.
Yeah.
No wonder you don't get a lot of likes, man. But if you work out really hard and you do everything that you have to do and you make sure that you're creating great content, it doesn't matter what it is. You just have to make a great product. And I'm sorry, all guys, but like I said, I work for a lot of girls, and the reason why girls are larger on these platforms aren't just because they're girls. It's
Mhm.
because they're putting more effort into it. They're working harder. You
Yeah.
know, it takes a lot. You
Yeah.
know, I can roll out of bed and go in front of this webcast a little bit easier than Holly can, I think. Like,
I had to get up and get everything
yeah,
ready.
you got to get ready. I get myself ready, but it's physically less maintenance. I'm not, when I play a show, I'm high maintenance. I'm like,
Mhm.
making sure that I'm shaved up and all this other stuff. And like, I wear eyeliner. Some other guys that I'm in bands with, they wear physical makeup to like cover up imperfections and stuff. But like,
It
we don't
shows up
always
in
have to do that
pictures.
as much.
Yeah, yeah, it shows up in pictures. I mean, every guy that's on TV in front of a camera that's
Where's
like
makeup?
they're wearing makeup.
Yeah, always.
They've got their beard shaved. Sometimes they put makeup in their beard so it looks like it's got a straighter edge to it. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to go wear makeup, but like you're saying, everybody needs to be at least self-conscious of what they're putting out there.
Yeah, you have to create good looking content.
Yeah.
You have to go for photo shoots. You
Hmm.
have to, like I pay for photographers for photo shoots.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't pay for photographers for photo shoots? My drummers and my other bands.
Yeah.
You know why I have more followers than them? It's not because I'm a better musician than them. It's because I've created better Instagram content than them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah, if you pay a good photographer, I mean, I think a running rate for a full or half day
couple
is
hundred
like
bucks, man. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can find a photographer in your town, someone that you know that has like a real camera, and they'll
yeah.
do a photo shoot for $100. If you cannot invest $100 into yourself, quit.
But I would say don't go with just anyone. You want to find somebody that has your creative vision as well, because I have had friends come and do photo shoots for me and nothing worked.
Right. I'm not saying choose a friend, so to speak,
Yeah, yeah. But
but
she's like,
there's tons of photographers. It's harder now, right? Like we used to find I found my favorite of the few photographers that I work with, just because I've worked with there for so long,
mm,
Laura DeSantis Olson. I've known her for years.
yeah,
I found her from playing shows, and she brought her camera and she took photos of my band, and they looked and posted them online, and they looked phenomenal,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's the person. When I saw her content,
yeah,
I was like, sweet.
yeah.
Estelle Massery, who I just did this recent photo shoot with, where we have the promo for this podcast. I saw her content online, and actually, she came out to several Nita Strauss shows. She's friends with Nita. Um, I saw her eye through her content,
Hmm.
and I was like,
That's who I want.
"That's this. We yes, like
Yeah,
yes,
because that is also still being super authentic to your brand. You know what your vision is, and
better than
her vision
anyone."
also excited you to kind of reflect on that's what you wanted, and that's important because if you put something out there that was kind of half-assed that you were okay with, it's not your true authentic self, and I guarantee you won't get as many followers from that.
All you have to do is find the nexus point of your budget versus the people who you know. If you're actively trying to do this and you're actively trying to build a brand of any sort, you will have some money
Hmm.
that, even if you have to sacrifice something 1 month or 2 months or save up for it, like you have money available. Even if you don't have money right now, you have
Hmm.
money available in your mind that you can put aside and save away for to do this thing, right?
Hmm.
And you're going to have to reach out to this pool of people, right?
Hmm.
I'm not a millionaire, but I was able to record my own album, make print 1,000 copies of it, which so many of my bands couldn't ever even get to the recording the album part, right? Like it's so hard. That part is so hard.
Yeah,
And then, through all the studio, through mixing, through mastering, and then duplication,
yeah,
that's of, I've had very many bands run out of money, run out of patience before that process was able to complete itself, right? I was able to do it myself because I was setting aside the money, I was saving up for it, and I was working hard in the times when I could, like gathering up all this information. And I just reached the nexus point of where all of those things collided. And, you know, it doesn't matter if my album has the greatest this or the greatest that. It's what I was able to do right there. And that's all that we can do. We got to do the best that we can do on every platform. We have to utilize everything on every platform. So we could go on forever on this.
yeah,
But I want to switch over now to Miss Abby K on bass.
yeah.
She brands herself as Abby K on bass. She is a singer and she is a bass player. She fronts her own band. Like I said, she used to do covers,
Hmm.
and then she has moved up to becoming a songwriter for her own personal stuff. She has a manager. She's been doing music videos, doing these releases. She was my student who now has her own students. Mwah.
Great.
Like, mwah. Love that.
Love it.
And
Yeah,
she
I want to
is
hear
a
it.
force to be reckoned with for sure.
Awesome.
So we're gonna switch over now. Here's Abby K on bass. All right, and I'm here now with Miss Abby K on bass. Abby has been a student of mine for a few years on and off when she's not busy taking over the stage and being the phenom that she is. She is graduating high school and going to college and at the same time, as well as playing the bass and shredding and writing songs and doing music videos and doing live streams and getting her license all at the same time. So everyone welcome Miss Abby K on bass.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to have you on the show. You know how much I love teaching, and for me to be able to have one of my students who I learned so much from you as well. You know, like I don't just teach you, like I also learn from you. Um, I'm just so super excited to have you on here. First things first, how are you? How is quarantine treating you? How is the band doing? What's going on with the band?
I'm pretty good. Quarantine has been, um, I've been through many different stages, but right now I'm the most inspired that I've been in the entire past year.
Is that
Um,
because we're getting like close to the end of maybe possibly of quarantine, or is it just because you're getting stir crazy?
Honestly, uh, towards the end of 2020, I started to get kind of burnt out, and I took an entire 4 weeks off.
Of
And
like music or
January
what?
I called it my mental health month, and I didn't force myself to do anything. And a week in, I found myself writing songs because I wanted to. Um,
Weird. In fact, I think I might have been partially responsible for some of that.
yeah.
I think we linked up to do like a check-in and
Mhm.
you were like, "Yeah, I need a break. I need a break." And then we talked and I think yeah, you worked on some stuff cuz you had some inspiration after we spoke, but then I'm happy to hear that you were able to relax and take a break. It's really hard. So that's one thing. That's one of the first things that I do want to address. I know that I have some questions that are pre-planned, but one of the things I do want to address is for you, you started off, if I'm not mistaken, you played mostly covers, if not all covers, the first show that I played with you, right?
Yeah, so the first show that I played was um, opening for Nita Strauss in Spartanburg, South Carolina, back in 2018. Um, I was strictly a cover band at that point.
And so from then
And
you've started writing songs and you've been releasing singles. So now, so this is where I wanted to kind of jump right into is now writing songs is like your job, kind of sort of, right? Like you're used since then you've been pushing this brand. And so now that writing songs have become your job, is it harder?
honestly, not really. It kind of goes through these different stages of where I'm at. Um, in the beginning, it was really hard for me to just sit down and write a song unless something major happened. Like the first song that I wrote was It Should Have Been Me. That was after a band said, "Hey, you're gonna be in this band." Oh wait, no, you're not.
Right. Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Yeah, so it used to have to be very motivated and inspired in order for me to get a good song, but over quarantine, I'd say especially, I've really been trying to focus on songwriting because that's pretty much the biggest thing that I could do. And one thing that I've been doing to perfect that is I've actually started listening to songs and not just listening to them to just enjoy them, but listening to what words they rhyme together and the structure. And I've learned a lot from doing that.
So you've been studying the structure of the art
Hmm.
because most songs, right, are basically, at least mine and many of the songs that I listen to, are primarily based upon interaction with another human and it either being awesome or it being hell. Like that's most songs, right? It's either you're awesome, I want to party with you, or you broke my heart. Like that's basically the gist of almost every song.
Hmm.
Um, so with so much less interaction, with quarantine? What about that aspect of the art? Is that why you're focusing on like the structure so much? Because there is less overall interaction. Like, yes, we still are interacting, but obviously way less than we all ever have.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed, because, in the beginning it was inspired by like moments, but I didn't really have those. And I kind of started to open up more in my songs and become more emotional and let people in that I haven't really been willing to do before. And so I wrote about some pretty personal things. And
You totally have a Taylor Swift writing style. I feel like almost every song you write might as well be a breakup song. Like, they're really good. They're really good. That's a total easy way for me to fall in love with the song, is for it to be like a a thumb in the nose of someone trying to oppress you. That's my favorite kind of song. Um, all right, so into my list of questions. That was all just off the top of my head right there. Because yeah, I do wonder. I wonder like what the young creatives have to do now that their lives are so much different. Even me, I can think back to the last 37 years of my life, and 36 of them are human interaction.
yeah.
When you're 18 years old and you think about the last 18 years of your life, and 17 of them were human interaction, or like 16 and a half, really, right?
Mhm.
How many of those did because like most of the human interactions we're going to even think about are going to be in our adolescence, and you really kind of only had the first few years of that yet. You haven't even had any of the crazy stuff happen yet.
Yeah, I definitely had to put myself in other people's shoes and try to imagine what those experiences would be like. Because, I mean, if I'm being honest, everyone experiences emotions and feelings differently. So if I'm trying to imagine what it sounds like and it's not completely accurate, it's fine because if I went through that, it may have been different than someone else.
Right. And that's where the mentorship part is pretty cool, because you know, getting to share those moments with people, getting to share those experiences, hopefully it clears up some of the inner workings.
Hmm.
So now you are a singer-songwriter. Um, so what are some of the major aspects of your musicianship that you felt that you've had to focus on the most? And the same question, but for your business. So you've held alongside your musicianship the last few years, you've built a brand and you've built a business. So, what are the biggest aspects of your musicianship that you've had to focus on? And B, what are some of the biggest aspects of your music business side have you had to focus on?
I definitely say in the actual music part of it, I've had to focus mostly on singing. That's the one thing that didn't really come naturally to me. Just ask my
I
mom.
find that hard to believe, but
Oh,
okay.
I used to be an awful singer.
Yeah, well, damn well that you have one of my favorite voices on the planet. You know damn well. I tell
I
you
don't
every time.
understand why, but I
I
think
I know why. I know why. Listen to your songs, man. Listen to your album. Like, that's why you have a specific tone to your voice that just people just don't have. There's a tone to it.
okay,
Just my
maybe.
opinion. My opinion.
But yeah, I definitely wanted to work on singing. I actually started taking vocal lessons with a rock vocal coach in Los Angeles over quarantine. Because guitar and bass, they came pretty naturally to me. I don't want to say it was just easy for me because obviously I had to practice every single day. Um, but singing just was something that I wanted to strengthen. So I've been working a lot on that. And then I'll touch on the music business side. One thing that I've been really trying to work on is social media, especially now. Social media is all you have.
any of my friends that I've sent in your direction, I've sent a couple people in your direction, people like Alex,
Hmm.
and Holly and stuff. And anytime I send someone to your socials, they're like, "Oh man, she's on point. Like she's doing it
Really?
right." Yeah, really.
Oh, lately I've been
Well,
insecure.
yeah, listen, lately we all do the best we can, but when we look at the overall summation,
Yeah,
like there's this whole business plan about how you should do social media. Like you can only do so much before
yeah,
you have to like just do whatever you can. But when they look at the overall aspect of everything you're doing from your YouTube to your covers, right? Abby does covers with her band. She's been doing these quarantine jam videos. She's been doing riffs and licks and album reviews and songs that have inspired you and favorite band t-shirts and all kinds of other fun interactive stuff. You've started your own Patreon page, which is patreon.com/abbyk on bass, right?
yes,
Like you're doing it. You're not even old enough to drink yet, like, and you're doing just as much, if not more, than all the other people I know. That's it's hard work, right?
yeah. But I was very determined when quarantine hit, especially to get a head start on social media to the point where I actually took a few courses in it. Um, and then I started managing social media for a few small local businesses.
Even before quarantine, when I saw you at NAM last year, you were taking social media classes and doing going to like the seminars there. You've tried to be very much on point. So you would say that for the music business point, it's you've been focusing online anyway,
Hmm. I
even
definitely
before quarantine.
I don't miss an opportunity to learn something.
Mm.
And last year, I was all over the place, going from this class to this class to this class to the point where I just missed lunch every day because I didn't want to miss out.
Did you sign up for NAM this year?
I did.
You did, and one of our other mutual friends, another one of my students, Shannon, she did some classes last night. She sent me the link. I got some email from them, and then she sent me the link. And I don't know, like when I went to, I like registered and everything, but then when I went to like, I don't know, verify my email, it just sent me into this endless loop where it was just constantly having me enter in my email address, and it was sending me an email that's like, click here to verify. I'd click there to verify. It'd send me to the same page, and so I just gave up on it. And I told Shannon, I was like, you know what? Anything I wanted to see at NAM, I'll just look it up on YouTube. I'm sure that they're going to be,
Hmm.
posting a lot of stuff. It does suck to miss out on the seminars. I do miss that. Um, wow. What was your greatest experience from NAM last year?
Um, I met some of my, like, I don't want to say heroes, but some of the people that I look up to in the industry for the first time. And it was crazy when I went up to them to introduce myself. They were like, "Oh, hey, Abby." I was like, "Wait a second. How do you know who I am?" Like I met Nikki Stringfield and Courtney Cox for the first time, and they just knew who I was, and I don't even really know how.
Well, you have interaction with Nita, and they are both very, very much there. They're from the Iron Maidens, and they're empowering women. You did some of that a couple years ago. You did, like, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. You were part of that Women in Rock photo shoot, weren't you? That
Yes.
photo shoot down by the steps
Yeah, that was
with
last
Jack Lou or whatever.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. So that's why, man, because you're making yourself known. You're doing the things that they're all doing. You put yourself on the same path as those who you look up to. You just might find that one day they're going to be next to you on that very same path. So don't tell me you don't know how. I know how. You busted your ass. That's how. And that's what I want people to see, and that's what I want people to hear. Like, so much of it is just, doing it, making sure that you're seizing the opportunities that are put in front of you.
Hmm.
what aspect of online promotions and resources have you relied on the most to grow awareness and strengthen your career? So you said social media, right? But there's more than just that. There's your website, there's Zoom, right? There's Skype, there's Discord, there's YouTube. These
Mhm.
are all technically social medias, right? Even Zoom, if you have more than one person on a Zoom call and you have your own Zoom like conference room, it's almost the same as having your own Instagram page or your own chat room, like um I'm so old that we used to have chat rooms on AOL, and I would be like in like the New Jersey rocker and goth like chat room, and people would start these things, and people would come around, um and they would just come to common ground,
Mhm.
and that so out of all of these things, out of all of these resources, which would you say are the have worked the best for you?
Um, Honestly, I would probably say Zoom because you can do anything. Um, like I do interactive live streams on my Patreon, um, where it's just sometimes I'll have my guitarist on there too, and we can do a band Q&A. Um, Last week I played a song that I was in the middle of writing. It wasn't even finished. So
Is
they
it
could,
the same one that I heard?
no, that was just written in 22 minutes tonight, the one that you heard.
So was Paranoid. So
Yeah.
was Paranoid.
And then also I teach a few lessons per week also on Zoom. I do my school on Zoom. I would definitely say Zoom is very helpful for so many aspects.
Shannon wanted to do interviews with stuff, and she was saying that she was having some issues, and I was like, you should get Zoom, and then record it on that,
Hmm.
because I think she was like trying to call people on Skype or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I'm gonna send you $15 back from your monthly lessons, and this month Zoom's on me. Trust me, you want it.
Yeah.
Because you and I did lessons online way before the world was shut down, because I lived in New Jersey. I met you in North Carolina or South Carolina, right?
Mhm.
South?
Yeah.
Is Spartanburg, South Carolina?
Yeah.
Um, my whole life, I've never gotten North and South Carolina right. I never get that right. Um, that's harder than New England clam chowder or Manhattan clam chowder. That's like I can figure those two out. Um, but yeah, so we did lessons and we used to do Skype, and then I was even trying Discord at one point. And then when I first moved out to LA, I was relying very heavily on Skype because I do stuff with an interface so you can hear everything with the fractal. And I'll tell you, Zoom, wow, dude. Like, I believe in it so much. The second that we all got locked up, it was and School of Rock founded School of Rock. We were trying to use Google Hangouts for stuff, and it was like failing for our meetings. And then they like made these free Zoom accounts. I was like, oh my god, this is the most stable platform I've ever used in my entire life for this. Like, and like to the point where we were like teaching on Zoom, but still holding our meetings on Google Hangouts. And I was like, on Google Meet, and I'm like, guys, this sucks. Like, like I would log in and like my mic wouldn't work, or like the captions wouldn't be there, or like, and so we switched everything to Zoom. Like, it's so awesome. Yeah, that's a huge resource. So what about though the difference of, like, let's say your TikTok, your LinkedIn, your website, and do you have a Snapchat?
Yes.
So out of those four, and at five include YouTube. So LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. What do you think? Snapchat?
Um, I think for me personally, I'm a young female and my target audience is also young girls, which is mainly going to be found on TikTok. I have not had much success with TikTok because um, I don't post the ideal content on there. I
You don't
don't.
do all trendy challenges?
Uh, I try to. I don't have what it takes to be a TikTok dancer. Um,
I
but
mean, everything just takes practice.
yeah, I know.
Well, you
Um,
don't have to be a TikTok dancer. So do you watch Gary V all the time, right? Gary Vaynerchuk?
mhm,
Right. He's a huge advocate for TikTok.
yeah,
All you have to do for TikTok is build your content.
yeah,
It could be you just doing a quick clip of one of your songs or something. It could be you doing something funny. It doesn't have to be what other people are doing. It just has to be your content. You can go on there and just like read from a script or read a quick line or do like act out one of your lines or like make some sort of reaction thing where like one person's talking to another person and it's just like working out your line, you know?
yeah,
You could make skits about song structure. You could make skits about writing lyrics. You could make skits about how you like using the same word over and over again. You know what I mean? If there's one word that you use in every song, you can like make little skits about it. Like every time you come to that song, be like, you know, or you come to that word in that song, you just come up with a different idea. Um,
yeah,
I think TikTok and LinkedIn, I agree with him where like TikTok's still growing, so it's still on an upswing. I think YouTube's the best.
mhm,
Um it's the best other than fighting the algorithm. Like fighting that algorithm sucks. Um but I think LinkedIn's great because it's supposed to be like still very organic. I mean, the reason why it's organic is because there's less traffic.
yeah,
Um But for me, I rely on Instagram. Um, that's my chosen platform. I do Instagram and I do Patreon.
yeah.
And when did you start your Patreon page? Did you start that during quarantine?
I did. I tried to do a Patreon sometime last year, I think. Um, and I spent 6 months with zero. So I took it down. I spent about 2 weeks trying to make it better, figuring out how I can actually make this a thing, what I'm going to post, how often. And I completely redesigned it. And now I have 10 patrons. And you know what? I'm pretty proud of that for now.
You should be proud of that for now. I
Yeah.
just I just started my Patreon page and I got 5 patrons within the first week and a half or 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And that blew me away. I was like, all right, maybe I'll get like one or something, but every little bit counts. I'll tell you right now, even just getting my first patron um gave me a little boost in there, right? Because one of the things that's really hard right now is secret to everyone, but performers really feed off of the energy of people wanting them to continue doing what they're doing. So when we're in a show, we're at a show, we're on stage and you're like, yeah, like we kind of really thrive off of that. And so when there is no more that, yeah, it's really we kind of get like salad fingers. We kind of get like depressed and shit. We
Yeah.
feed off of those endorphins. So a thing like Patreon, where it's not exactly that, yeah, it is a nice little nod, like, hey, we can't wait to see you live again. We're gonna try and help you a little bit. And like
Yeah.
it's not just about the purchase, right? It's about feeling like someone's behind you.
It's very validating for me.
I'll tell you, I started my Patreon page after um I listened to a seminar by the guy who created Patreon and his failure to success story with his band and how he had GoFundMe's and things worked out well. And it was all these ups and downs. And the guy who started Patreon, like, was in a band that he was trying to have it be successful. And they did play big shows and they never made boatloads of money. And they were just trying to continue. And like, so Patreon was kind of like a monthly, GoFundMe, because like a GoFundMe or like a Indiegogo, they end,
Yeah.
and so I was just like, I know people hate on this platform because of this rule or that rule, or, or especially when politics gets involved and red versus blue and all that stuff with that platform. But man, for us artists, it's an astonishing platform that, I'm still growing. Eventually, mine is not only going to include my music, because right now on it, I have music. I'm doing this extended interview. Everybody who's watching this, you will see, and I will tell you also right after this interview on the podcast that if you want to see the full extended interview with Abby, all you have to do is go to my Patreon, and our entire conversation will be there. Plus or minus that song if she lets me post it. Or maybe I'll just have her give me a. That's what I'll do. I'll have you when you make yours. I'm gonna have you make a teaser for my Patreon, and so that way I can put up the teaser and send people to your page.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. See, got to cross platform with that, but yeah, it's just these being able to have that support and being able to continue on. It really just helps us. It really does. Um, This is a good one. This is a good one for you. This is a question that I didn't come up with and had no knowledge of your current life situation when Holly and I were discussing your questions. So what do you do to battle discouragement when faced with an impossible task? That's the first part of your question.
Okay. Um, I handle things in many different ways, but when I get really mad, I channel that anger into a song. Um, I have I could fill an entire album with songs about things that I was mad at or people that I was mad at.
It's my first album. It's a whole album of things that I was mad at.
But yeah, I try to stay calm when something not always in my favor happens, but uh, I usually end up writing a song within the hour. And when I'm really mad, uh, today I wrote an entire song in 22 minutes.
Yeah, but that's a banger of a song, dude. So you write this, or you try and write music and you try and create art when you get discouraged.
Hmm.
What is something that you would like to see other people focus on when they are discouraged? People who look up to you and people who you would like to inspire. What do you want to see them do when they get discouraged?
Well, if you are a musician, the best thing you can do when you get angry is channel it as motivation, get better. Another thing that I do, if I get angry, I'll go to the gym and work out. I'll have the best workouts when I'm angry. I'll run the farthest when I'm the most upset. Um, but yeah, I think especially for me, between uh, being able to channel that as motivation to get better. I also, when somebody tells me that I can't do something that I want to do, I have the I will prove them wrong mindset. And not because I want to prove them wrong, but because I want that for myself so badly that I want for them one day to say, oh, I was wrong. She did do it because I can do it.
It's good to know that you don't need to prove them wrong, but it also feels good when you do.
Yeah.
Because I've had musical inspirations in me, people who I've looked up to, who I really relied on to kind of guide me along my way, who really just were horrible, horrible people to me. And I had a poster of this guy's band. I used to have my workstation, like my desk, my recording computer, and then back over there was like the TV with the video games. So when like I get burnt out, then you go and play video games, and then whatever. But right next to the TV, I had a poster of this dude's band, and it was because it was like, don't get too comfortable. you're going to look at this and you're going to see this guy and you're going to turn back around and put your back to that TV and you're going to get back at that computer and you're going to work on that material and you're going to kick his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 10 times over, like my career versus that dude's career. I did. And I didn't do it for those reasons. But when the going get tough, where do we get that extra fuel from, right? Like some of it's going to be the anger of the douche who screwed us.
Yeah.
You got fuel for days, months, years, kiddo. Like as artists, anything that happens, we channel that. And I love that that's your mindset because, along the path, people are going to take advantage of us. People
Mm-hmm.
are going to, put us in situations where we feel helpless and powerless, but we just have to know that we are never helpless. We are never alone. And we are more powerful than any bigot ever could be. Um, you know, Anybody who expresses any form of bigotry, I guess it would be, right? Bigotry. They're showing that they're weak.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime that someone wants to cut you down along your path, they're showing you that they are weaker than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to keep our head up and we have to strive forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Abby K on bass. Are there any final thoughts that you would like to say to our fans, such as what was your last single that came out and where can they find it?
My last single that came out is I Thought That I Loved You. You can find it on all streaming platforms under Abby K. You can also find me on all social media at Abby K on Bass and on my website, abbykonbass.com.
And how do you spell Abby K?
ABBY space K.
As in the letter.
Yes.
I just wanted people to know that it was not Kay. Well, Abby, thank you so much for being on here. I can't wait to have you back on. I want to have you back on in around the springtime so we can talk about some other deep, dark secrets of the music industry world. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you check out Abby K on bass. We will have her on again because with Bass Cafe with Holly and Dean, Abby really is like the type of mascot person that I would like to show people that this show is really for and about, because she has done it all and her journey is just beginning. I cannot wait to see what the next 20 years has in store for this girl, because I know for a fact she's going to take over. So make sure you check her out because you don't want to be the last. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Abby.
Bye.
And we're back. So I love getting to talk on Zoom with Abby. It makes me feel like all reminiscent of all of our lessons that we did. She's a phenom. She really is. She's proved that you can be yourself and conquer it. And like she's battled some pretty crazy, challenges, as we all do.
Yeah.
And so much of that has to do with, not just falling, but also getting back up.
Yeah, it's right. We all go through things. Even the people who are at the top go through things and they get discouraged. And it's just important to have people around that you can talk to and, just to observe what's going on and get your wits about yourself and take the next step forward.
Right. And I'll tell you, she works so hard. She works so hard. Like I get discouraged sometimes about my musical journey.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that builds me up is seeing someone like Abby out there killing it, doing everything that she's doing, because
mm-hmm.
I know that like even however small a part, I know that I play a part in all of those individuals' lives. And they play a part in mine.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like if I'm worried about, man, should I even like work on this song today, and then I see like Abby release a song. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, because
Yeah.
it's, we all have our own demons. But yeah, I really love seeing her
Yeah.
conquer it.
I would go as far as saying on social media, follow people that make you feel uncomfortable in that aspect. Where if you see them doing something, you get a little bit of a fire in your butt and you want to go do something as well.
Or get your gears turning, like, um dude, every single musician, sorry, I just like took a sip. Every single one of us should follow marketing websites, follow like business entrepreneur websites, follow gentleman websites, follow like ladies of luxury websites, follow luxury websites, because there's a certain mindset and there's certain little tidbits of information, and it's not just like to fall into the algorithm of advertisement, but sometimes, just sometimes, someone can post a quote that got them through a time where they didn't understand or couldn't make that last connection to their final thought. And all of those gentlemen of luxury, like Instagram posts, dude, they've so many great quotes. And I've absolutely utilized that as a way to finish a song. Like, whether it was just getting back to work, or figuring out what to do for my website, because I saw this entrepreneur quote about, in this final hour, just get up and do blah, blah, blah. And it gets me on the computer. And you know what I mean? Like, there's always a form of influence that we can find if we want to find the positive influence.
Yeah.
And I think, again, we have to look at ourselves as, even when we're on stage, we are influencers of a mindset. We are influencers of a vibe, of version of artistry and creativity.
Mhm.
Like, we are painting a picture. When you're on stage playing heavy distorted metal and headbanging and wearing makeup that makes you look like a Dolly painting on steroids, like, you're painting a picture.
Yeah, you are. You are. And there are followers, like we were saying before, the world, as far as I'm concerned, the world is big enough for everyone to have their piece of the pie. And you have to hone in on your following. Who is your following? And who is your future following? Who do you want to follow you? And that's who you need to start um, making yourself known to and making yourself appealing to. That's what a business mindset does. An entrepreneur one of the very first thing they do is find out who your target audience is, and don't really steer too far from that, because then you're making yourself too broad.
Well, for your focus, right? And like, so, and we always have to remember that innovator's dilemma, right? Yes,
Yeah.
we're targeting our audience. We're targeting the people who we want to influence. We're targeting who we want to be influenced by.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to look for the future.
Yeah.
We do have to do this shuffle, just like Facebook, where you have to make everyone happy,
Yeah.
and then you have to do what's right for the future.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, right? They made everyone happy. Everyone was working cohesively in the, infancy of Facebook, and then they changed the game.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I have been to houses
Mm-hmm.
of Snapchat influencers. Insane.
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 What do you mean?
Insane.
Because every wall has to be a picture
Dude,
perfect.
walls were lined with things I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
There is there was American flags painted on the wall with every kind of assault rifle known to man and flamethrower zipped into it.
Okay.
you know, paid
What
for
kind
by
of
Snapchat.
influencers are you hanging out with?
Well, it was just for fun, dude. There was
Who you
it.
hanging out with there, Dean?
Um, it was jackass kind of stuff. It wasn't like militia kind of stuff, right? Um, but yeah, man, there's concert venues, there's wrestling rings, there's airboats with subwoofers on them. You know, you think of like famous YouTubers' houses, you know, they are as pimp as pimp as pimp gets. You know,
Well,
you
also, if you go to those new places, those pop-up places, those influencer pop-up places, and that's pretty insane as well. Everywhere, every corner is a picture perfect, which is also a good place to take a photographer and do a photo shoot, and you can get all kinds of content.
know what I don't
Those places.
understand? Like I follow Kim Kardashian on
Okay.
all social medias
Okay.
for very many reasons, but as a big one, super awesome businesswoman. I don't say whatever you want about anything for point of view. I don't care. Her business model, it just works, man. I know why it works, you know, but
Yeah.
there's so many facets to just business in general. You
Yeah.
can another thing, like I want to shoot guys down. Like, duh, people follow Kim Kardashian because of the way she looks, right? But she has all of these products. She handles all of these different products, all of this money.
Mhm.
If she wasn't smart enough to deal with all of that money and all of that business, she wouldn't have what she has. It would come and it would go.
Yeah.
So for me, like, it doesn't matter why, right? It
Mhm.
matters how when they've gotten their business to this level, it's huge.
Yeah.
KKW as a brand is huge. You know, the Kardashians in general, their business is huge.
Yeah. And like what we were talking about, it, you don't you don't have
And the
to.
Jenners.
Yeah. You don't you're not supposed to be concerned with other people's pocketbooks if you're thinking about in a business perspective. You put out your product, you put out your things, and if people buy them, you're not worried. You shouldn't have to worry if they have enough money to buy them. You should put out your products and things that you authentically feel that you want to put out there and present in the world, and you will get people to buy them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I bring up them because so many people hate on them. Like so many people hate on the Kardashians and the Jenners, right? And I follow it because, like I said, if their business model wasn't working, it wouldn't work.
Right.
And so that's on a magnitude in which you can see when I was first starting off, and this is, you know, and even still, it's not like every month I sell a million CDs. You know what I mean? Like some months we don't sell any CDs. We don't sell any physical CDs. And so it's hard to gauge your metrics. Something that actually we're going to have to expand upon this in another episode because I really wanted to talk about this too, is knowing your insights. And the reason why I follow larger brands is
Mhm.
to see how metrics work.
Yeah.
Until you start getting metrics, you don't know what it is. So when you're using Facebook and when you're using Instagram and when you're using your website, for me, I barely even look at my actual website. What I look at is Squarespace analytics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I look at when I make a post on something or try and drive traffic to my website from this thing, where are those people coming from? At what time did I make this post? Was it better for people in Ireland? I've had people from Ireland and Turkey visiting my website, right? Which is no big thing from the internet. But if you think about small boy, you know, a small town boy rather from New Jersey, that's pretty crazy that someone in Turkey went to my website, someone in Ireland went to my website, someone in France went to my website.
Yeah.
In what time of day does my Instagram post work for that person, for their group, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to pay attention to your analytics. Once we become online, we are now 24/7. You know, like you're only 9 to 5 in your time zone, but if you're not targeting your time zone, then you're not 9 to 5 for your posts.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to target my time zone, and which is my time zone is basically the United States,
Yeah.
because of bouncing back and forth, New Jersey and LA, right? 9 a.m. 9 a.m. East Coast time. I make a post. That's when it's going to do its best on my platforms, because that's who I target, is people in the United States primarily, right? But if I was targeting Germany and I was targeting Turkey, there would be different hashtags, there would be different techniques, there would be different photos, there would be different content, and there would be a different time schedule. Another resource for all of you who are still here, there's apps that will measure that. There's one that's called like When to Post and Instagram time. I don't know.
You just have to be careful because some of them that want you to log in with that account, Instagram and Facebook Instagram, I guess, will flag your account because you're not supposed to use third-party apps for analytics and things like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, you got to do your research. You got to do your research, but you can. I mean, a lot of those sites, what they really do, when you just put in the name, and you don't have to sign in, right? You just put in the name. It'll look at all of your posts and see all the metadata.
Yeah.
And tell you what works best for you. Yeah, of course, you have to be careful with everything, but the internet is filled with resources. Another great one for YouTube, because everyone says it, TubeBuddy.
Yeah.
TubeBuddy is awesome. You get to see your analytics. You get to see how long the average watch time is, and like where people drop off, where people like come in, you know, what people skip ahead. Like you get to see so many, you know, what something that YouTube doesn't tell us is what keyword did someone enter to find us, right? TubeBuddy does stuff like that. I don't currently have it on my computer. Because I switched over, but I'm gonna put it back on because we want to know this. We want to know. I wanted to wait until we had some content and then start looking at like an average, you know?
Yeah.
So
cool.
All right. Well, this was episode 8.
Yes.
We've had enough episodes where we had to ask each other, wait, what episode is it? And that is a good sign.
Wow. Yeah, I hope in the next few episodes we can get some funny bloopers or some B-reel in there.
Well, I've been recording some of all the before and after stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping somewhere in some of that we get some cool stuff.
Yeah. So, and ask us questions too. We would like to do maybe a live thing with everybody when we get up to maybe 100 subscribers.
Yeah, we're about halfway there, right?
Yeah. 2 months in. Woo.
Halfway there.
Well, all right. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
This is definitely one of the bloopers.
Yeah.
From that day.
Well, make sure you like and subscribe, and push that notification bell so that when we are on, you will be notified and you can watch us on Mondays at 9 o'clock, right? 9 and 12? 9.
Yep. 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.
Yep. And it is set to premiere always. And make sure to follow Holly on Patreon at patreon.com/HollyWestMusic. And make sure to follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/DeanMusicOfficial. Both of us, when we do our interviews, we have extended cuts and extra treats and little things like that where, you know, if you follow me on Patreon, you get to see this video like a couple hours earlier, a day early or whatever like that. And we do different stuff, and anything that you contribute and help us with or share, it just helps us bring more content to everyone else. You know, we're just trying to spread the word and give everybody the shortcuts that took us an entire career to find out. So
yeah. And if you are looking to improve your skills,
shred you later.
All right. See you later.